Her 16-year-old stepbrother allegedly climbed on top of her while she slept. Days later, she was found dead, hidden under a cruise ship bed, wrapped in a blanket, covered with life vests, and when investigators asked him what happened, he said he doesn't remember. Before we dive in, if you're new here, like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications because this case will disturb you. November 7th, 2025. Carnival Horizon cruise ship. Somewhere in the Caribbean Sea. A housekeeper knocked on the cabin door. No answer. She swiped her key card and entered to clean. The room looked empty at first. Beds unmade. Luggage scattered. Typical teenage mess. But something was wrong. She noticed something under one of the beds. A blanket. Life vests piled on top. Strange. She bent down to look closer. And that's when she saw her. A girl. Hidden under the bed. Wrapped in a blanket. Covered with life vests. Not moving. The housekeeper screamed. Anna Kepner was 18 years old. A high school cheerleader from Florida. She had boarded this cruise ship 5 days earlier with her family. Was supposed to be having the vacation of a lifetime. Instead, she was dead. Hidden under a bed like a secret someone wanted to keep. Her death has now been ruled a homicide. Cause of death was mechanical asphyxia. Someone stopped her from breathing. Someone put their hands on her and squeezed until she couldn't breathe anymore. And the person who did it was sleeping in the same cabin. Her 16-year-old stepbrother. He was the only one seen going in. The only one seen coming out. And when investigators asked him what happened, he said he doesn't remember. This case is still developing. Anna's father has been subpoenaed to testify in court on December 5th. The FBI is closing in. Charges could come at any moment. But as of today, no one has been arrested. No one has been charged. And Anna Kepner's killer is still free. Titusville, Florida. A quiet coastal town on Florida's Space Coast. About 40 miles east of Orlando. Just 13 miles from the Kennedy Space Center where rockets launch into the sky and dreams take flight. This is where Anna Marie Kepner grew up. This is where she learned to dream. This is where she became the person everyone loved. Anna was born to Christopher Kepner and Heather Wright. Her parents' relationship didn't last. They separated when Anna was young. Heather eventually moved to Oklahoma. Distance grew between mother and daughter. Anna stayed with her father in Titusville. Christopher raised her, provided for her, became her anchor in life. She grew up like any Florida girl. Loved the sun, loved the beach, loved the water that surrounded her coastal hometown. Anna started gymnastics at the age of 2. Could barely walk but was already tumbling, already flipping, already showing the athleticism that would define her teenage years. She fell in love with cheerleading. The energy, the teamwork, the thrill of performing in front of crowds. It became her passion. By her senior year at Temple Christian School, Anna had made the varsity cheerleading squad. She had worked hard for that spot, practiced for hours, perfected her routines, earned her place among the best. Her family called her Anna Banana, called her their sunshine, because that's exactly what she was. Anna had a way of lighting up every room she walked into. Her grandmother Barbara would later say she had that type of energy that just drew you in. With her smile, with the way she carried herself. She was such an easy person to talk to. She wasn't just an athlete. She was a scholar. Straight A's. Every semester. Every class. Anna took her education seriously. Knew it was the foundation for everything she wanted to achieve. And she wanted to achieve a lot. Anna dreamed of graduating in May 2026. Just months away. She had already started planning. Already started preparing for what came next. She wanted to join the United States Navy. Serve her country. See the world. Be part of something bigger than herself. After the Navy, she had another dream. Become a K-9 police officer. Work with dogs. Protect her community. Make a difference. She even dreamed of cheering for the University of Georgia Bulldogs. Her favorite football team. She imagined herself on that sideline, wearing those colors, living that life. Anna loved the water more than almost anything. She had earned her boating license. was a certified scuba diver. The ocean called to her and she always answered. She worked at a local aquarium supply store in Titusville, surrounded by fish and tanks and everything she loved. Her boss would later post on Facebook that she was always smiling. There won't be a single day that goes by that we don't think of her. Her best friend Genevicia Guerrero told reporters Anna was a positive influence on everyone around her, always encouraging her friends to do well in school, always lifting people up, always making others feel good about themselves. Anna loved doing her makeup, loved making TikTok videos, loved spending time with her grandparents and siblings. She would take her younger siblings to the park, took them to Halloween horror nights, always looking out for them, always being the big sister. She sent sweet messages to the people she loved. Random texts just to say, "I'm thinking about you," just to remind them they mattered. Her friends described her as gentle, curious, kind, sweet, selfless, compassionate, caring. Anna was the kind of person who made you feel seen, the kind of person who made you feel like you mattered, the kind of person the world needed more of. But behind that beautiful smile, Anna had been through pain. Just days before she boarded that cruise ship, on October 26, 2025, Anna posted a TikTok video. In it, she shared a series of selfies. She looked happy, confident, strong. But the words she wrote told a different story. Even after every breakup, being disrespected, being lied to, being cheated on, being used, getting manipulated, getting played, I will always have a smile on my face and a kind heart. She continued, "I don't know why I've been through what I've been through, but I can promise you, I never deserved it." Those were some of Anna Kepner's final words to the world. She never deserved what she had been through. The heartbreaks, the betrayals, the disappointments, and she certainly never deserved what was coming. Less than 2 weeks after posting that video, Anna would board a cruise ship with her family. 9 people, 3 generations, one blended family sailing off into the Caribbean. They were supposed to make memories that would last a lifetime. Instead, one of them would never come home. To understand what happened on that cruise ship, you need to understand the family Anna was traveling with. This wasn't a simple family. This was a blended family. 2 broken homes stitched together. And the seams were already coming apart. Anna's father was Christopher Kepner, a man in his 40s living in Titusville, Florida. He had been married before, had children from that marriage, including Anna. Anna's biological mother was Heather Wright. But Heather wasn't in Anna's life much. She had moved to Oklahoma years earlier. Distance grew between mother and daughter. They hadn't been close in a long time, so Anna lived with her father. Christopher was her world, her stability, her home. But then Christopher remarried. His new wife was a woman named Chantel Hudson. She came with her own baggage, her own children, her own drama. Chantel had been married before too, to a man named Thomas Hudson. Their marriage had ended badly, very badly. They were still fighting over custody of their children more than a year after the divorce began. Court records show the dissolution of Chantel and Thomas's marriage started in October 2024. They shared 3 children together, an 18-year-old son, a 16-year-old son, and a 9-year-old daughter. The custody battle was bitter, accusations flying from both sides. Thomas claimed Chantel was keeping the children from him, that she wasn't letting him be involved in their lives, that her parenting was putting their futures in jeopardy. Chantel fired back with her own allegations. Court documents show she accused Thomas of domestic and physical abuse directed at their 2 youngest children, including the 16-year-old boy. This was not a peaceful divorce. This was war, and the children were caught in the middle. Christopher and Chantel got married in December 2024, less than a year before the cruise. The ink on Chantel's divorce papers was barely dry before she was walking down the aisle again. Suddenly, Anna had a stepmother and step-siblings, a new family she barely knew. The 18-year-old stepbrother didn't stick around long. Court documents reveal he left the Kepner household after what was described as a violent altercation between himself, Chantel, and Christopher. He went to live with his biological father, Thomas. but the 16-year-old stayed. He was living under the same roof as Anna, sleeping down the hall from her, becoming part of her daily life whether she wanted it or not. Anna's grandparents tried to make it work. Jeffrey and Barbara Kepner embraced the new additions to their family, welcomed them with open arms. Barbara would later tell reporters, "There's no such thing as steps in our family. It's all family. A blended family, yes, but that's not how our family is. Our dynamic is we're all just family." She said she loved Chantel's children just like she loved the rest of her grandchildren. They called her Meemaw, called her husband Peepaw, told them they loved them. Barbara described Anna and her 16-year-old stepbrother as two peas in a pod. Said they were just like brother and sister. Said she believed they cared about each other in the right way. But not everyone saw it that way. Anna's ex-boyfriend saw something different, something disturbing. His name was Joshua Weston. He was 18 years old, had dated Anna before the cruise, knew her well, knew her family, knew what went on behind closed doors. Joshua's father, Stephen Weston, spoke to Inside Edition after Anna's death. What he revealed was chilling. Stephen said his son told him the stepbrother was obsessed with Anna, that he displayed troubling behavior around her, behavior that made Anna uncomfortable. According to Stephen, Joshua witnessed something disturbing during a FaceTime call with Anna. It was 3 a.m. Anna had fallen asleep during the call. The phone was still connected, still recording, and that's when Joshua saw him. The stepbrother entered Anna's room. While she was sleeping, climbed on top of her. Joshua saw it happen through the phone screen, watched in horror as his girlfriend's stepbrother got on top of her while she slept. He reported it, told Anna's parents what he saw, tried to warn them, but did they listen? Stephen Weston said his son told him Anna was scared of her stepbrother, said she was uncomfortable around him, and there was something else. He always carried around a big knife. Those words from Stephen Weston. The stepbrother always carried a knife. Anna was scared of him. He was obsessed with her. He climbed on top of her while she slept. Red flags everywhere. Warning signs screaming. But somehow this family still decided to go on vacation together. In November 2025, someone booked a cruise. A 6-day Caribbean getaway on the Carnival Horizon. Leaving from Miami. Stopping in Cozumel, Grand Cayman, and Jamaica. 9 family members would go. Christopher Kepner, his new wife Chantel, Anna, her younger brother, Chantel's 16-year-old son, Chantel's 9-year-old daughter, and Anna's grandparents Jeffrey and Barbara. 3 generations, 3 staterooms, 1 floating nightmare waiting to happen. The sleeping arrangements would prove critical. The 2 younger girls would stay with the parents. Christopher and Chantel in 1 cabin with the little ones. Jeffrey and Barbara had their own cabin. The grandparents, they even had an extra bed. Made it clear to all the kids that if anyone felt uncomfortable, they could come stay with them. But the 3 teenagers wanted their own room. Anna, her younger brother, and the 16-year-old stepbrother. 3 teens. 1 cabin. No parents. Anna would be sharing a room with the boy who allegedly climbed on top of her while she slept. The boy she was scared of. The boy who carried a knife. The boy who was obsessed with her. And no one thought this was a problem. Barbara Kepner would later say they made it very clear to the kids. At any time if they weren't getting along, if they didn't want to be together, they had an extra bed in their room. The kids could come to them, but Anna never came, never asked to switch rooms. Never told her grandparents she was uncomfortable. Maybe she didn't want to cause drama. Maybe she thought she could handle it. Maybe she didn't realize the danger she was in. Or maybe she never got the chance. On November 2nd, 2025, the Kepner family boarded the Carnival Horizon in Miami. The ship set sail for the Caribbean. Blue water, warm sun, family memories in the making. For the first few days, everything seemed fine. The family ate together, explored the ship together, visited ports together, took photos, laughed, enjoyed the vacation. Barbara Kepner would later say they were all having a great time, that she couldn't fathom why anyone would want to hurt her baby. But beneath the surface, something was wrong. Something was building. Something dark was about to explode. The cruise was scheduled to return to Miami on November 8th. 6 days of paradise. Anna Kepner would never see day 6. If you want justice for Anna, like, share, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications. November 2nd, 2025. Port of Miami, Florida. The Carnival Horizon sat massive against the dock. A floating city rising from the water. Nearly 4,000 passengers would board that day. Over 1,000 crew members ready to serve them. 13 decks of restaurants, pools, casinos, theaters, and entertainment. This ship was 1,062 feet long, weighed over 133,000 tons, had cost hundreds of millions of dollars to build. It was a marvel of engineering, palace on the sea, and it was about to become a crime scene. The Kepner family arrived at the port early that morning, excited, ready for adventure, ready to make memories together. 9 of them in total, 3 generations, one big happy blended family. At least that's what they wanted to believe. Christopher Kepner led the way, his new wife Chantel beside him. They had been married less than a year, still in that honeymoon phase, still trying to make their blended family work. Behind them came Anna, 18 years old, wearing that smile everyone loved, carrying her bags, ready for 6 days of Caribbean paradise. She had been looking forward to this trip. Anna loved the water, loved adventure, loved trying new things. A cruise through the Caribbean was exactly her kind of vacation. Her younger brother was there too, excited like any kid would be, ready to explore the ship, ready to swim in the pools, ready to have fun. Then came Chantel's children, the 9-year-old daughter, quiet, sweet, along for the ride, and the 16-year-old son, Tage, the one who allegedly made Anna uncomfortable, the one who allegedly climbed on top of her while she slept, the one who allegedly carried a knife everywhere he went. He walked onto that ship too, right alongside the girl he would allegedly kill 5 days later. Finally came the grandparents, Jeffrey and Barbara Kepner, the anchors of this family, the ones who held everyone together. They had been married for decades, had raised their children, were now enjoying their grandchildren. Jeffrey would later say the cruise wasn't what excited him most. It was spending a whole week with his youngest son and all the grandkids. That's what mattered. Family time, togetherness, love. They wanted to start a tradition. Annual family cruises. Every year, everyone together, building bonds that would last generations. Day 1 was about exploration. The family wandered the ship, found the pools, the buffets, the restaurants, the arcade, the casino. So many options, so much to do. The teenagers went off on their own, did their own thing. That's what teenagers do. The adults didn't worry. The ship was safe. Security everywhere. What could possibly go wrong? Day 2, November 3rd. The ship arrived at its first port, Cozumel, Mexico. The family went ashore together, walked through the tourist district, browsed the shops, bought souvenirs, took photos everywhere they went. Anna posed for pictures with her siblings. That smile, that bright, beautiful smile, the one that could light up any room, the one that made everyone around her feel good. Barbara watched her granddaughter that day, saw the joy in her eyes, saw the excitement on her face. Had no idea these would be some of her final memories of Anna alive and happy. Day 3, November 4th. Grand Cayman. More exploring, more shopping, more photos, more family time. Everything was going according to plan. No drama, no fights, no tension anyone could see. The water in Grand Cayman was crystal clear, turquoise blue, absolutely beautiful. Anna probably loved every second of it. This was her element, the ocean, the adventure, the escape from everyday life. Day 4, November 5th. Jamaica, Montego Bay, famous beaches, reggae music, island vibes. Another perfect day in paradise. The family soaked it all in, made more memories, took more photos, enjoyed each other's company. But the trip was winding down. Just 2 more days. Soon they would be back in Florida, back to school, back to work, back to normal life. Anna had no idea she would never see normal life again. Day 5, November 6th, a sea day, no ports to visit, just open ocean. The ship sailing back toward Miami. A day to relax, to enjoy the ship's amenities, to prepare for the journey home. The family spent time together, ate meals, played games, enjoyed the sun. But as evening approached, something changed. Anna wasn't feeling well. At dinner that night, her braces were bothering her. She had gotten braces recently. They were uncomfortable sometimes, painful. That night was one of those nights. She sat at the table, but she wasn't herself. Wasn't as bubbly as usual. Wasn't smiling as much. Wasn't engaged in the conversation. Barbara noticed. Asked her granddaughter if she was okay. Anna said, "Meemaw, I think I'm gonna go back to my room for a little bit. I don't feel well." Barbara understood. Told her to get some rest. Feel better. They would see her later. Anna got up from the table. Pushed in her chair. Walked away from her family, headed back to her cabin, the cabin she shared with her stepbrother. But Anna didn't stay in her room long. She must have felt better, because later that evening she reappeared. Barbara and Jeffrey were in the casino, playing the slot machines, having fun on their last night aboard. And there was Anna, walking toward them, dressed up, hair done, looking beautiful. She sat down next to her grandmother. Played $20 on the machines. Didn't win anything, but she didn't seem to care. She just wanted to be there, wanted to spend time with her Meemaw and Peepaw. They talked, laughed, enjoyed each other's company. One last good memory. Then Anna stood up, looked at her grandparents with those bright eyes. "Meemaw, I love you guys. I'll see you later." Barbara smiled, said she loved her too, watched her granddaughter walk away. She never saw Anna alive again. November 7th, 2025. The morning after. The ship was still sailing. Still cutting through Caribbean waters. Still headed toward Miami. Scheduled to dock the next day. The Kepner family gathered for breakfast. Christopher, Chantel, the grandparents, the younger children. But Anna wasn't there. Barbara looked around the table. Asked where Anna was. Nobody knew. They assumed she was sleeping in. Teenagers do that, especially on vacation, especially on the last full day of a cruise. No reason to worry. She would show up eventually. They ate breakfast without her. But as the morning wore on, Anna still didn't appear. 10 o'clock. No Anna. 11 o'clock. Still nothing. Barbara started to worry. This wasn't like her granddaughter. Anna always checked in. Always popped by to say hello. Always made sure her grandparents knew she was okay. Where was she? The family started asking questions. Started looking around the ship. Checked the pools, the restaurants, the arcade. No sign of Anna anywhere. Meanwhile, somewhere on the ship, a housekeeper was making her rounds. Going cabin to cabin. Cleaning rooms. Changing sheets. Restocking towels. Just another day at work. She knocked on the door of the teenager's cabin. No answer. She waited a moment. Knocked again. Still nothing. She swiped her keycard. Pushed the door open. Stepped inside. The room was messy. Beds unmade. Clothes scattered on the floor. Luggage open. Typical teenage chaos. Nothing unusual. She started to clean. Picked up some towels. Moved toward the beds to strip the sheets. That's when she noticed something strange. Something under one of the beds. A blanket bunched up. Life vests piled on top. It looked like someone had shoved something underneath. Probably just dirty laundry. Kids are messy. She bent down to pull it out. And then she saw it. A hand. Skin. A human body. The housekeeper screamed. Stumbled backward. Ran out of the cabin. Called for help. Within minutes, ship security arrived. Then the ship's medical team. They pulled back the blanket. Moved the life vest. Anna Kepner lay underneath. Cold. Still. Not breathing. Bruises on her neck. Her body wrapped up like a package. Hidden away like trash. At 11:17 a.m. on November 7th, 2025, Anna Kepner was officially pronounced dead. She was 18 years old. Somewhere else on the ship, Jeffrey Kepner was standing in line, buying bingo cards, looking forward to a fun afternoon with his wife. One more day of vacation before heading home. Then the announcement crackled over the loudspeakers. A medical emergency. Security needed immediately. A specific cabin number. Jeffrey heard the number. His blood went cold. That was the teenager's cabin. That was where Anna slept. He dropped everything. Started running. His heart pounding. His mind racing. Praying it wasn't what he thought it was. He reached the cabin. Saw the security officers. Saw the medical team. Saw the looks on their faces. He pushed through. Had to see for himself. What Jeffrey Kepner saw in that cabin would haunt him for the rest of his life. His granddaughter. His Anna Banana. His sunshine. Lying dead on the floor. Pulled from under a bed like a forgotten piece of luggage. I went blank, Jeffrey would later say. I was hoping that it was something minor. Something we could fix. But the moment I saw her, I knew. He stood there frozen. Unable to move. Unable to breathe. Unable to process what his eyes were showing him. Then Christopher arrived. Anna's father. He took one look at his daughter and knew instantly. She was gone. Jeffrey grabbed his son. Pulled him out of the room. Christopher didn't need to see any more. The image would destroy him. Then Jeffrey had to do the hardest thing he'd ever done in his life. He had to tell Barbara. He walked to where his wife was waiting. She saw him coming. Saw the look on his face. Knew immediately something was terribly wrong. Jeffrey opened his mouth. Tried to speak. But the only word that came out was Anna. Barbara's world collapsed. I knew when he walked in the room something was wrong. She would later say. All he could say to me was Anna. Just her name. That's all he could get out. And then I screamed. I couldn't stop screaming. The family that had boarded this ship 5 days earlier with dreams of making memories was now living a nightmare. Their Anna was dead. Murdered. Hidden under a bed on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean. The ship changed course immediately. Headed straight for Miami. No more stops. No more vacation. This was now a crime scene. Security locked down the cabin. Preserved the evidence. Started reviewing footage. Started asking questions. Where was the stepbrother? Where was he when Anna's body was found? He was on the ship. Walking around. Acting normal. Like nothing had happened. When security approached him, he didn't run. Didn't fight. Didn't confess. He just stood there. Emotionless. They brought him in for questioning. Asked him what happened. Asked him what he knew. His answer chilled everyone who heard it. I don't remember. That's what he said. I don't remember what happened. How do you not remember? How do you share a cabin with someone and not remember how they ended up dead under your bed? Barbara would later say he was an emotional mess when they questioned him. Couldn't speak. Couldn't believe what had happened. But she also said something else. Something that haunts her. He was the only one scene going in. The only one scene coming out. I can't accuse him because I don't know what happened in that room. But the summation would be that he did something. The ship docked in Miami on November 8th. FBI agents were waiting at the port. This death had occurred in international waters. That meant federal jurisdiction. That meant the FBI would lead the investigation. Every family member was questioned. Every piece of evidence collected. Every second of surveillance footage reviewed. The investigation had begun. And at the center of it all was a 16-year-old boy who said he couldn't remember. If you want justice for Anna, share, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications. November 8th, 2025. Port of Miami. The Carnival Horizon pulled into dock just after sunrise. But this wasn't a normal arrival. No celebration. No passengers rushing to disembark with souvenirs and sunburns. FBI agents stood waiting on the pier. Crime scene investigators. Federal prosecutors. This cruise ship was now a floating crime scene. The Kepner family was escorted off separately. Kept away from other passengers. Each one would be questioned. Each one would have to tell their story. Anna's body was transported to the Miami-Dade medical examiner's office. An autopsy would be performed. Evidence would be collected. The truth would come out eventually. But the FBI already had a prime suspect, the 16-year-old stepbrother. Security footage from the ship told a damning story. Investigators reviewed thousands of hours of video, tracked every movement, every door swipe, every entrance and exit. What they found was clear. The stepbrother was the only person seen entering Anna's cabin that night, and the only person seen leaving. No one else went in. No one else came out. Keycard data confirmed it. The electronic locks recorded every swipe. Every time that door opened, it logged who opened it. Only one keycard accessed that cabin during the critical hours. The stepbrothers. Investigators also examined Anna's cell phone, pulled her messages, her calls, her texts, looking for any clue about what happened in those final hours. They interviewed passengers, crew members, anyone who might have seen something, heard something, noticed anything unusual. The picture was becoming clearer, but the stepbrother wasn't talking. When FBI agents questioned him, he gave the same answer he'd given ship security. "I don't remember." How convenient. An 18-year-old girl is dead. Her body hidden under your bed. And you don't remember anything. Investigators weren't buying it. But there was a problem. The suspect was 16 years old. A minor. That complicated everything. Juvenile cases are handled differently under federal law. More protections. More privacy. More restrictions on what can be made public. If charges were filed, they might be sealed. The trial might be closed. The public might never know the full story. After the ship docked, the stepbrother was taken to a hospital. Not for physical injuries, for psychiatric observation. His mother Chantel later revealed in court documents that he was hospitalized immediately after returning to Miami. She didn't say why, didn't explain what condition he was in. He was eventually released, sent to live with a relative of his mother. Not back to the Kepner house. Not back to the home he had shared with Anna. He was also placed in counseling, getting treatment, getting help. But for what exactly? Trauma from witnessing something terrible? Or guilt from doing something terrible? The FBI wasn't saying. They never comment on ongoing investigations. Never reveal details about suspects, especially juvenile suspects. So the public was left to wonder, left to speculate, left to piece together what happened from court documents and family interviews. And the court documents were revealing plenty. Remember, Chantel Hudson was still fighting a custody battle with her ex-husband Thomas. That case had nothing to do with Anna's death, but it became the window through which the world learned what was happening. On November 17th, Thomas Hudson's attorney filed a motion in Brevard County Court. In that filing, he stated plainly that the 16-year-old was a suspect in Anna's death. The older child, who is approximately 16 years of age, is a suspect in the death of the stepchild. It was the first official confirmation. The stepbrother was being investigated for murder. The next day, Chantel fired back with her own filing. She requested a delay in the custody hearing, said she couldn't testify, said an extremely sensitive and severe circumstance had arisen. Her filing revealed even more. There is an investigation being conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation arising out of the sudden death of 18-year-old Anna Kepner. The respondent has been advised through discussions with FBI investigators and her attorneys that a criminal case may be initiated against one of the minor children. Criminal case. Those words hung in the air. The FBI was considering charges against her own son for killing his stepsister. Chantel invoked her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, said any testimony she gave could be prejudicial to her or her adolescent child. She was protecting her son, even as Anna's family demanded answers. The custody filings also revealed something else. They referred to Anna's death as a suspected murder, not an accident, not a medical emergency. Murder. Court documents stated the minor child is currently the subject of the active FBI criminal investigation. There is good cause for the need to protect the privacy, sensitivity, and well-being of not only the minor child but the other individual family members involved. Chantel wanted everything sealed. wanted a gag order, wanted to stop anyone from talking about the case publicly. But it was too late. The documents had already been filed, already been accessed by reporters. The story was out. Meanwhile, the FBI continued working in silence, reviewing evidence, building their case, waiting for the autopsy results. Those results came on November 24, 2025. Anna Kepner's death certificate was issued, and it confirmed what everyone suspected. Manner of death, homicide. Cause of death, mechanical asphyxia. The document stated that Anna was mechanically asphyxiated by other persons. Someone had strangled her, choked her, cut off her air supply until she stopped breathing. This was murder, official, documented, undeniable. The FBI had told Anna's family earlier that she likely died from a bar hold, an arm wrapped around the neck, pressure applied until the victim loses consciousness. Then death. There were bruises on Anna's neck, consistent with strangulation, consistent with a struggle. Anna had fought back. Her Aunt Crystal was certain of it. I know Anna fought. I know she fought for her life, but she lost that fight, and now her family was fighting for something else. Justice. If you want justice for Anna, share, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications. Who was this 16-year-old boy at the center of the investigation? Court documents referred to him only by his initials, Th. His full name was never released publicly. He was a minor, protected by law, shielded from the spotlight that was burning down on everyone else. But details emerged, piece by piece, from court filings, from family interviews, from people who knew him. Th was the son of Chantel Hudson and Thomas Hudson, born during their marriage, raised in their home, caught in the middle of their bitter divorce. His parents split in October 2024. The custody battle began immediately, accusations flying. Chantel claimed Thomas was abusive. Thomas claimed Chantel was keeping the children from him. Neither side backing down. Th was 16 when his mother remarried, when Christopher Kepner became his stepfather, when Anna Kepner became his stepsister. He had only known Anna for about a year, maybe less. Their parents married in December 2024. By November 2025, Anna was dead. What happened in those months? What was the relationship really like between Th and Anna? The grandparents painted a rosy picture. Barbara Kepner said they were like two peas in a pod. Said they were just like brother and sister. Said she believed they cared about each other. But others saw something different. The family dynamics were complicated. Chantel was her stepmother. Th was Chantel's son. If Anna complained too much, it might cause tension, might upset her father's new marriage, might rock the boat. So Anna stayed quiet, smiled through her fear, hoped for the best, and paid with her life. There were other red flags too. After Anna's death, Thomas filed emergency motions, demanded custody of his 9-year-old daughter, argued that Chantel's judgment had directly led to tragedy. His attorney stated in court that the teenagers were given their own room on the cruise, that Chantel wasn't exercising appropriate supervision, that the circumstances showed negligence. There were also allegations about alcohol. Thomas's attorney claimed that because the cruise was in international waters, the 16-year-old was allowed to drink, that he may have been intoxicated that night. A law enforcement source told CBS News the same thing, said investigators believed the suspect may have been using alcohol, but Chantel's attorney denied it, said there were videotapes from the ship that confirmed absolutely no drinking occurred. Who was telling the truth? The tapes would show. The FBI had all the footage, all the evidence, all the answers. They just weren't sharing them. What we know is this. Th was in that cabin. Th was the only one seen entering and exiting. Th claims he doesn't remember what happened. And Anna is dead. The medical examiner ruled it homicide. Mechanical asphyxiation. Someone choked the life out of her. The FBI has not officially named Th as a suspect. They don't comment on ongoing investigations. But the court documents speak for themselves. His own mother admitted in legal filings that a criminal case may be initiated against her son. His own father called him a suspect in open court. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck. TH was hospitalized after the cruise, placed in psychiatric care, then released to a relative, put in counseling. He has a psychiatrist appointment scheduled. He may be called to testify in the custody case. His attorney will likely advise him to invoke his Fifth Amendment right. The right to remain silent. The right to not incriminate himself. Because anything he says could be used against him. In a murder trial, Anna Kepner was dead. Her killer was walking free, and her family was falling apart. The grief hit everyone differently. Barbara Kepner couldn't stop screaming when she found out. That scream echoed through the cruise ship, echoed through the halls, echoed in her mind for days afterward. I just screamed. I couldn't stop screaming. She had lost her granddaughter, her Anna Banana, her sunshine, the girl who lit up every room, the girl who always checked on her grandparents, the girl who said I love you every chance she got. Gone. Hidden under a bed like garbage. Killed by someone Barbara had welcomed into her family. Jeffrey Kepner was haunted by what he saw. The image of Anna's body, pulled from under that bed. Lifeless, cold, bruised. I still wake up seeing that. Every night, every time I close my eyes, I see her. He had run to that cabin hoping it was nothing. Hoping his granddaughter was okay. Hoping the medical emergency was something minor. Instead, he found a horror scene. A nightmare he can never unsee. Christopher Kepner lost his daughter, his firstborn, his little girl who dreamed of joining the Navy, who dreamed of becoming a K-9 officer, who dreamed of cheering for Georgia. All those dreams died in that cabin. Christopher had remarried hoping to give his children a bigger family. More siblings, more love, more support. Instead, he brought a killer into their lives. How do you live with that? How do you wake up every morning knowing your decision led to your daughter's death? Christopher has barely spoken publicly, told reporters he has no idea what's going on, that the FBI hasn't shared anything with him, that he's just trying to sit still and wait for answers. We were there as a family. Everybody was questioned. Everybody came off that ship. I don't know who they are looking at or what their investigation is, but he knows. Everyone knows. The evidence points one direction. And then there's Heather Wright, Anna's biological mother. Heather hadn't been close to Anna in years. She lived in Oklahoma. Distance had grown between them. Life had pulled them apart. But Anna was still her daughter, still her flesh and blood, still the baby she brought into this world. Heather found out about Anna's death the worst way possible. Nobody called her. Nobody told her. She found out through Google. I found out through Google. He never once tried to call me and get a hold of me when she died. Christopher didn't reach out. Didn't think to tell his daughter's mother that their child was dead. Heather had to discover it herself. Scrolling through news articles, seeing her daughter's face, reading about murder and cruise ships and FBI investigations. The pain of that moment is unimaginable. Heather wasn't even welcome at the funeral. Anna was laid to rest on November 20th, 2025, at the Grove Church in Titusville, Florida. Family and friends gathered to say goodbye. The family requested that no one wear black. They wanted color, brightness, joy, in honor of Anna's spirit. Her favorite color was blue, so people wore blue, celebrated her life instead of mourning her death. But Heather wasn't invited. There was tension, bad blood. Years of estrangement had built walls. She went anyway. I'm going to wear a disguise. I'm going to put a wig on and wear some really tall shoes because I'm 4'9". A mother sneaking into her own daughter's funeral, wearing a disguise, hoping not to be recognized, hoping to say goodbye without causing a scene. That's what this family had become. Fractured, broken, destroyed. And at the center of it all sat a 16-year-old boy receiving counseling somewhere, protected by his mother, shielded by the law, waiting to see if charges would come. Barbara Kepner struggled with her feelings about TH. She had loved him, welcomed him into her family, called him her grandchild, let him call her Meemaw. Now he was suspected of killing her real grandchild. I can't accuse him because I don't know what happened in that room. But then she added something else. Something that revealed her true thoughts. He was the only one seen coming and going. So the summation would be that he did something. The summation would be that he did something. Barbara knows. Deep down. She knows what happened. She just can't bring herself to say it out loud. The boy she loved killed the girl she loved. She also said something haunting about TH's response when questioned. In his own words, he said he does not remember what happened. I believe to him that is his truth. She believes he genuinely doesn't remember. That whatever happened in that cabin, his mind has blocked it out, erased it, protected him from the horror of what he did. Trauma can do that. The brain can shut down, refuse to record, refuse to recall. It's a defense mechanism, but it doesn't change what happened, doesn't bring Anna back, doesn't heal the wounds. Barbara lost 2 grandchildren that night, Anna to death, and TH to whatever darkness consumed him. No matter what we find out, no matter what they tell us, it's not going to bring either one of these children back. The Kepner family will never be whole again. The cruise that was supposed to bring them together tore them apart forever. They wanted to start a tradition, annual family vacations, memories that would last a lifetime. They got memories, all right, just not the kind anyone wanted. It has been nearly a month since Anna Kepner was murdered. Her body has been cremated, her ashes scattered or placed somewhere only her family knows. The girl who loved the ocean is gone, returned to the elements she cherished. But her case is far from over. The FBI continues to investigate. Agents are reviewing every piece of evidence. Surveillance footage, keycard data, cell phone records, autopsy results, witness statements. They are building a case, piece by piece, brick by brick, preparing for what comes next. No charges have been filed yet. No arrests have been made. The 16-year-old stepbrother remains free, living with a relative, attending counseling sessions, waiting, but the wheels of justice are turning. On November 25, 2025, Anna's father, Christopher Kepner, was subpoenaed, ordered to appear in court on December 5th, to testify in the custody dispute between Chantel and her ex-husband Thomas. The subpoena was filed by Thomas Hudson's attorney. He wants answers, wants to know what happened on that ship, wants to understand why his son is now suspected of murder. Christopher may be forced to tell everything he knows, everything he saw, everything he suspects. The hearing is scheduled for 9 a.m. before Judge Michelle P. Studstill, for hours blocked off for testimony and arguments. The 16-year-old himself may be called to testify. His father's attorney has indicated he might subpoena the boy, force him to take the stand, force him to answer questions. But the judge has already predicted what will happen. I would anticipate that the child will choose not to testify and invoke his Fifth Amendment right. But I don't know. The Fifth Amendment, the right to remain silent, the right to not incriminate yourself. If TH takes the Fifth, he won't have to answer any questions, won't have to explain what happened, won't have to admit anything. But silence speaks volumes. An innocent person doesn't need the Fifth Amendment. An innocent person wants to clear their name, wants to tell their story, wants justice. Only the guilty hide behind silence. Meanwhile, Chantel Hudson is trying to lock everything down. She filed a non-dissemination order, wants to prohibit anyone from discussing the case publicly, wants all future filings sealed, wants the media shut out. Her filing stated there is good cause to protect the privacy, sensitivity, and well-being of not only the minor child but the other individual family members involved. She's protecting her son, fighting for him, even as Anna's family fights for justice. Can you blame her? She's his mother. That's what mothers do. They protect their children, even when those children do terrible things. But what about Anna? Who protects her now? The FBI has told Chantel she's been cleared of any wrongdoing. She didn't kill Anna. She wasn't in that cabin. She didn't wrap her hands around her stepdaughter's throat. But did she ignore the warning signs? Did she dismiss Joshua's report about TH climbing on top of Anna? Did she fail to supervise her son on that cruise? Those questions may never be answered in court, but they haunt everyone who follows this case. The legal road ahead is complicated. If the FBI files charges against TH, it will be a federal case. He's a juvenile, which means special rules apply. The proceedings may be sealed. The trial may be closed to the public. Details may never be released. Federal law protects minors, even minors accused of murder. The system prioritizes rehabilitation over punishment, believes young people can change, can be saved. But can TH be saved? Can someone who allegedly strangled his stepsister and hid her body under a bed ever be rehabilitated? That's not for us to decide. That's for the courts, for the judges, for the system. What we can do is remember Anna. Remember the girl who smiled through pain, who posted on TikTok about surviving heartbreak, who said she would always have a smile on her face and a kind heart. Remember the cheerleader who started gymnastics at 2 years old, who worked her way onto the varsity squad, who dreamed of cheering for Georgia. Remember the student who earned straight A's, who wanted to join the Navy, who wanted to become a K-9 officer, who wanted to serve her country. Remember the granddaughter who called her grandmother Mima, who popped in just to say I love you, who played $20 in the casino just to spend time with her grandparents. Remember the girl who loved the water, who earned her boating license, who became a certified scuba diver, who felt most alive when the ocean surrounded her. Remember Anna Banana, the sunshine, the light that could brighten any room. That light was extinguished on November 7th, 2025. Snuffed out by someone she trusted, someone she lived with, someone she called family. But lights like Anna's don't disappear completely. They leave traces, memories, impacts on everyone they touched. Her friends remember her. Her teachers remember her. Her co-workers at the aquarium store remember her. Her grandparents will remember her every single day for the rest of their lives. And now you remember her too. Anna Kepner deserved better. Deserved to graduate. Deserved to serve. Deserved to live. Deserved to grow old and have children and grandchildren of her own. She deserved justice. That justice hasn't come yet, but it will. The FBI is watching. The evidence is mounting. The truth will come out. And when it does, we will be here, covering every development, every hearing, every verdict. Anna's story isn't over. It's just beginning. If you want updates on this case, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. We will follow this case until justice is served. Share this video. Let people know what happened to Anna Kepner. Let her story be heard. And if you're watching this and you know something, say something. Anna deserves that much. Rest in peace, Anna Marie Kepner. November 7th, 2025. You were 18 years old. You had your whole life ahead of you, and someone stole that from you. But we won't forget. We won't stop talking. We won't let your story fade. Justice is coming. Stay strong and stay aware. I will see you in my next case.